and here, please take your seats. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. May peace be upon us all. Shalom, Namo Buddhaya, salam kebajikan, salam sejahtera untuk kita semua. Namaste, Om Swastiastu. Coordinating Minister for Economic Affairs of the Republic of Indonesia, His Excellency Erlangga Hartarto. Minister of Agriculture of the Republic of Indonesia, His Excellency Syahrul Yassin Limpo. Vice Minister of Agriculture and Rural Affairs of the People's Republic of China, His Excellency Ma Yuxiang. Union Minister of State for Agriculture and Farmers' Welfare of the Republic of India, Her Excellency Shobha Karandlaje. Minister of Agrarian Policy and Food of Ukraine, His Excellency Mykola Solskil. Deputy Minister for Food and Agribusiness, Coordinating Ministry for Economic Affairs of the Republic of Indonesia, Honorable Madam Dr. Musdalifah Mahmud. Oil Palm Minister of Papua New Guinea, Honorable Francis Maneke MP. Deputy Chief of Mission, Head of Chancery of the Malaysian Embassy in Indonesia, Mr. Adlan Muhammad Shafiq. The Secretary General of CPOPC, Dr. Rizal Afandi Lukman. The Chairman of Indonesian Palm Oil Associations, or IPOA, Mr. Joko Supriyono. President Director of Palm Oil Plantation Fund Management Agency, Mr. Edi Abdurrahman. Director of Plantation Protection of the Ministry of Agriculture of the Republic of Indonesia, Mr. Baginda Siagian. Distinguished guests, delegates, ladies and gentlemen, welcome, welcome to the opening ceremony of the G20 Sustainable Vegetable Oils Conference here in the beautiful islands of the gods, the exotic Bali, Indonesia. Thank you very much. We are extremely delighted to welcome you to what people say the last paradise on earth. The beautiful culture and the magnificent landscape of Bali will take your breath away, and the warm and graceful hospitality of its people will make you feel like home. Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, our wonderful program this morning would not have been possible without all the amazing and immense support from all of our partners. And thus, on behalf of the organizing committee of the G20 Sustainable Vegetable Oils Conference, we would like to extend our deepest gratitudes and appreciations to our media partners, Asia Palm Oil, Majalah Sawit Indonesia, OFI, Oils and Fats International, and Competere. Thank you very much indeed. Delegates, ladies and gentlemen, commencing the opening ceremony this morning is the national anthem of the Republic of Indonesia, Indonesia Raya. Please rise. Ladies and gentlemen, kindly remain standing for a few moments of silence as we bow down our heads in prayer to God Almighty for a successful deliberations today. Moments of silence will now begin. Thank you, and kindly be seated. Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, the beautiful island of Bali is known for its grand philosophy of Trihita Karana, harmony with God, nature, and men. And thus this morning, we are delighted to present to you a traditional Balinese performance that carries a historical significance, portraying the lives of the Balinese people and symbolizing glory and beauty, and offering you the grandeur of ambrosial fragrance, and that is the food of the gods. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Bungan Sandat Serasi dance. Bungan Sandat Serasi Dance. Let's hear it for our gorgeous and talented performance this morning. What a wonderful and warm welcome from Bali, Indonesia. Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, to continue to unfold the opening ceremony this morning, I am honored to invite the opening remarks from the Secretary General of CPOPC. Please give a warm welcome to Mr. Rizal Afandi Lukman.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. His Excellency Bapak Airlangga Hartarto, Coordinating Minister for Economic Affairs of the Republic of Indonesia, His Excellency Bapak Sahrul Yassin Limpo, Minister of Agriculture, Republic of Indonesia, His Excellency Mr. Francis Galia Maneke, Minister for Oil Palm of Papua New Guinea, who is coming to our conference today. His Excellency Ma Youxiang, Vice Minister of Agriculture and Rural Affairs, People Republic of China. His Excellency Mykola Solsky, Minister of Agrarian Policy and Food of Ukraine. Honorable Mikhail Matse, Executive Director of Oil, Fat and Union of Russia. Honorable Dr. Musdalifah Mahmud, Deputy Coordinating Minister for Food and Agriculture, CMEA. Honorable Bapak Joko Supriyono, Chairman of the Indonesian Palm Oil Association, GAPKI. Honorable Bapak Edi Abdurrahman, Chairman of the Indonesian Palm Oil Plantation Fund Management Agency, BPDPKS. honorable ambassadors, honorable head of the DCM, Bapak Adlan, Muhammad Safiq also coming to our conference, Deputy Chief of Mission of Malaysian Embassy in Jakarta. Terima kasih Bapak. Honorable speakers, participants, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Very good morning in Bali, good afternoon and good evening wherever you are who are connected through this conference virtually. It is indeed a great pleasure to warmly welcome to all of you to this Sustainable Vegetable Oil Conference. Vegetable oil supply chains have proven to be resilient in the face of the challenges that occurred over the last 3 years, the pandemic that led to the interruption in supplies and the impact of the conflict in Ukraine. The challenges that involve global production chains of vegetable oils and the potential solutions are at the core of this Sustainable Vegetable Oil Conference today. This conference was organized by the Coordinating Ministry for Economic Affairs, the Ministry of Agriculture, with co-organizers, the Indonesian Palm Oil Association GAPKI, the Indonesian Palm Oil Plantation Fund Management Agency BPDPKS, and Council of Palm Oil Producing Countries CPOPC. The conference is to support the G20 Indonesia Presidency agenda to strengthen cooperation on the issues of global food security and sustainable agriculture. The conference will showcase how vegetable oils play a role in providing food security and sustainable energy for all. For the first time, leading global vegetable oil stakeholders to meet within the context of the G20 to discuss current challenges with the goal of strengthening the resilience and sustainability of production chains. To serve those goals, I'm pleased to share that this event is graced by 20 prominent speakers, include the government ministers, vice ministers from producing and consuming countries such as China, Ukraine, India, Russia, and Indonesia, as well as representatives from the industries. They will enlighten us with the strategies on how producing countries address the current food crisis and contribute to strengthening supply chains. To complete the discussion, and with the spirit of inclusivity, we will also be indulged by the expertise of academics, practitioners, and experts from international organizations such as Food and Agriculture Organization, UN World Food Programme, and World Trade Organization. They will highlight the dynamic that revolve around commodities, including trade restrictions and the extent to which sustainable farming relates to climate and biodiversity, and to provide the audience with an overview from a governmental perspective concerning global strategies for finding an alternative solution to the existing food and energy crisis. We are so grateful for the presence of His Excellency Bapak Coordinating Minister Erlangga Hartarto, who joined our conference through direct online from Jakarta. Terima kasih Bapak Menko Perekonomian atas perkenan Bapak. The Coordinating Minister will shortly deliver his keynote address just before the sessions begin. Allow me to report, Bapak Menko, that we have more than 560 participants from 41 producing and consuming countries across 4 continents, Europe, Asia, Africa, and America. From Colombia to China, from US to Ghana, there are about 200 participants present offline in this room, and more than 430 participants attending through online. Those numbers represent not only the biggest vegetable oil meeting in the past 3 years, but also the most inclusive and wide-ranging gathering in our attempt towards achieving concerted and collective efforts to respond to the current global crisis. Primarily, global food insecurity, nutrition, sustainability, and improving the resilience of our agriculture and food systems. The cultivation of oil palm generates downstreaming activities in the food, energy, and industrial sectors that represent a significant contribution in fulfilling the gap caused by the global crisis that the country could overcome them alone. That's why the CPOPC is ready to cooperate with other vegetable oils producing countries to build an alliance of sustainable vegetable oils across global multi-stakeholders. Our common goal is to provide healthy, nutritious, and affordable food and energy through resilient supply chains while facing the rapid growth of population. Distinguished speakers, ladies and gentlemen, to conclude, I hope that the conference could prompt further endeavors to collectively promote the use of vegetable oils to feed and energize the world. On behalf of the committee, I would like to thank the Coordinating Ministry for Economic Affairs, the Malaysian Ministry of Plantation, Industries and Commodities, all speakers and moderators from the palm oil associations, international organizations, and all vegetable oil stakeholders for their support in making today's conference a reality. With that, I thank you and wish you all a productive discussion. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you very much, Mr. Rizal Afandi Lukman, Secretary General of CPOPC, for a warm, welcoming remarks. Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is now our distinct honor to invite another remarks from the chairman of Indonesian Palm Oil Associations, or IPOA. We welcome onto the stage Mr. Joko Supriyono. Please give a round of applause.
Good morning. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera, Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, Salam Kebajikan. Honorable Coordinating Minister for Economic Affairs of the Republic of Indonesia, His Excellency Bapak Erlangga Hartarto. I also see here Ibu Deputy Minister of the Economic Affairs, Ibu Musdalifah Mahmud, Honorable Minister of Agriculture of the Republic of Indonesia, His Excellency Bapak Syahrul Yassin Limpo, Honorable Minister of Oil Palm of the Papua New Guinea, His Excellency Francis Manike, Honorable Minister of Agrarian Policy and Food of Ukraine, His Excellencies Mikota Solsky, Honorable Vice Minister of Agriculture and Rural Affairs of People Republic of China, His Excellencies Ma Yao Xiang, all Excellencies, Ambassadors, Secretary General of the Council of Palm Oil Producing Countries, Bapak Rizal, President Director of PBDP KS, Indonesia Palm Oil Fund Management Agencies, Bapak Edi Abdurrahman, representative from the Malaysian Embassy, Mr. Adlan, distinguished speakers and moderators, all invitees, participants of the conference. It is my great pleasure and honor to welcome you to the first Sustainable Vegetable Oil Conference today. We are very proud to be able to organize this conference. As the largest producer and exporter of the palm oil, which is one of the most consumed vegetable oil by the world's population, through this conference, we would like to encourage all the vegetable oil producers to in line to meet the world's food and energy needs with sustainable production and play a role in achieving the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs. Currently, world consumption of the vegetable oil has reached 242 million tons, with the total production estimated at 244 million tons. Of the total vegetable oil production, palm oil contributes 32%, followed by soya oil, 25%, rapeseed oil, 11%, sunflower, 8%, and the rest is filled by other vegetable oil. Given the important role of vegetable oils in meeting the world's food and energy needs, coupled with the concern of global warming, sustainable production from upstream to downstream is a must. So we encourage the development of platforms that aim to encourage all vegetable oil production to achieve sustainability. In addition, as the world population grows, which is followed by an increase in consumption, it is important to manage sustainable vegetable oil production, such as the development of research that produce superior seeds with high productivity and disease resistance, so that future productivity increases will no longer depend on the land expansion, but more on efficiency in intensification. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, our next concern is related to the global vegetable oil trade. We hope that the competition in the trade is fairer and doesn't create a black campaign against one of the competing vegetable oil. Because each of vegetable oil has its own advantages. Meanwhile, at the country level, we hope that no country will implement regulations that lead to trade barriers, including various non-tariff barriers that have an impact on increasing food prices and affordability for the world's population, especially developing countries. Finally, I hope this first vegetable oil conference, through the conference, we can come to a common perception of the importance of sustainable production and ease of trade. In this opportunity, I would like to thank to the chairman of the Sustainable Vegetable Oil Conference, Bapak Saifullah, and all the team, organizing committee for their hard work in preparing for this important event. Have a great and productive conference. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you very much, Chairman of Indonesian Palm Oil Associations, or IPOA, Mr. Joko Supriyono, for the remarks. Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is now our distinct honor and privilege to be virtually joined by our coordinating Minister for Economic Affairs of the Republic of Indonesia, all the way from the capital, Jakarta. Please give a warm welcome onto the screen, His Excellency Erlangga Hartarto.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, Salam Kebajikan. Your Excellency, Honorable Francis Manake, Minister of Oil Papua New Guinea. Your Excellency, Mr. Adnan Mohamad Safik, CDA Embassy of Malaysia. Honorable Franz Lassen, President of European Palm Oil Alliance. Honorable Datuk Ahmad Pervez Gulam Kadir, Director General Malaysia Oil Board. Honorable Puan Aizah Hamid, CEO Malaysia MPOPC. Honorable Dr. Jevina Constanzi Laun, Executive Director International Community. Honorable Pak Joko Supriyono, Chairman GAPKI, Pak Rizal Avandi Lukman, Executive Director of CPOPC, yang kami hormati Pak Edi Abdurrahman, Presiden Direktur BPD PKS, Bu Deputi, Bu Musdalifah, Pak Pietro Paganini, Economic and Geopolitical Analyst, Honorable CEO, speakers, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen. I'm pleased to welcome you all, the distinguished participants and honorable guests, to the Vegetable Oil Conference held in accordance with the upcoming G20 Summit here in Bali. And allow me to attend virtually due to certain duties that I have to attend in Jakarta. This meeting is designed to be an open setting dialogue to address and formulate strategy to counter the global vegetable oil supply chain challenge. Further, we also expect to establish a stronger and more inclusive platform for collaboration involving all vegetable oil and stakeholders globally. The recent global shortage and situation in Ukraine have led to emerging food security, especially with the Black Sea extension that due to happening during the month of November. The World Bank has estimated that every 1% of food price increase, around 10 million people are at higher risk of extreme poverty. In addition, more than 320 million people worldwide could be exposed to famine due to the unhalted increase in food prices. Therefore, Indonesian government would join others who have called for a termination of export restriction policies, especially on staple food. I believe that this action must be followed by many, especially food producers, to ensure the life of others, that everybody's responsibility. Amidst this crisis, ensuring availability, accessibility, and affordability of agriculture commodities in the global market, including vegetable oil, should become one of our main focus. Edible oil crisis has started the current global food inflation. Vegetable oils are the food commodities that's giving and growing fastest. The demand are always higher than the supply. The imports stand around 40% of global consumption. Taking into account growing global population and widespread use of vegetable oils in various industries, it is predicted that the size of global market for vegetable oils is increased from 199.1 million metric tons in 2020 to 258 metric ton by 2026. In the in the past year, vegetable oil production increased by 5.7 million metric tons per annum on average, while consumption increased around 6.2 million. Palm, soybean, rapeseed, and sunflower have been the most limited one. The continuous geopolitical tension not only worsened the unavailability of vegetable oil stock, they have also led to the increase in price to almost 250%. The impact of scarcity in vegetable oil is real. The world needs to find a solution and alternative to end this crisis, and one of the answers is availability of palm oil. Distinguished guest participants, palm oil is the most affordable with abundant stocks of all vegetable oil. Indonesia contributes around 85% of global palm oil supply and produce 40% of the total global vegetables oil. With Malaysia, Indonesia account together with Malaysia, we account about 92% of palm oil export. In labor absorption, palm oil contribute more than 17 million of workers off and on farm, mainly the smallholders. And for Indonesia, the economic value of the presence of the palm oil plantation, they help the development of new economic centers in Sumatra, Kalimantan, and Sulawesi. This address inequality and improve access to economic source based on the regional or local strengths. We know that palm oil has been the most efficient vegetables oil and might provide answer to the current crisis. That unfortunate countries still verdict palm oil as one of the unsustained vegetables oil. We try to disseminate the informations on market access, especially in Europe. Palm oil is extremely efficient in terms of land use. All palm oil yield on average of around 3 tons per oil per hectare, while other oil producing crops generate less than 1 ton of crude oil per hectare. This raised the question of which vegetables oil are actually the most unsustained. I was informed that sunflower and rapeseed top the list. Second, palm oil plantation significantly support the attainment of SDGs, especially Goal 13 on climate action and Goal 15 on life and land. This is because of palm oil plantation absorb more CO2 emissions than forests. While the forest estimated to absorb 42.4 tons of CO2 per hectare, palm oil plantation is able to absorb 64.5 tons of CO2 per hectare. The palm oil plantation also produce 18.7 tons oxygen per hectare, as opposed to 7.1 tons produced by forests. This shows that palm oil can act not only as a solution, but also for responding to the climate crisis. The third, palm oil meets the sustainable standard. Speaking at the UN conference a few months ago, I openly emphasized that the CPOPC Secretariat, acting as producing country intergovernmental association, is working tirelessly to ensure that palm oil is indeed sustainable. To this end, I commend the existence of global framework principle for sustainable palm oil. This initiative is paving the future direction for the palm oil sector to spearhead the global sustainable undertaking, emphasizing it, and also, among others, efficient practices, compliance, and inclusiveness. I fervently urge the global vegetable oil producer to study the principle so that they can be of use by many. And fourth, palm oil is people-centered economic activities, that we continue to place people at the core of palm oil development. I note that the CPOPC Secretariat endeavor to continuously engage the smallholder Around 40% of production that meets global palm oil supply is generated by smallholder. Focusing on the smallholders, it will help the upscale palm oil production to meet the increasingly global demand and to offer food price stability. Distinguished participants, allow me to highlight one more point that I found to be significant in line with our attempt to present the genuine and factual picture of palm oil market, especially in Europe. Despite the introduction of RED or Renewable Energy Directive in the EU zone in 2018, CPO imports by EU members generally continue to increase. Around 6.4 billion of CPO and its derivatives were imported by EU in 2021. On the consumption side, the EU has been fairly constant between 6.3 to 6.5 million metric ton. I also commend the palm oil market outlook launched by Refinitiv, to which it suggests that there is an increased interest from EU players to purchase more palm oil. In August 2022, this was a way to replenish their stocks as palm oil prices are more affordable and making it more accessible than other vegetable oils. I welcome the top 3 importers from the EU zone, namely the Netherlands, Spain, and Italy, for their increasing trust toward the effective use of CPO. The Netherlands in Q2 this year imported 375,000 tons from Indonesia, an increase from the same period last year. This exhibits a gap understanding between the policymakers and the market needs in the EU. This gap can be addressed if dialogue platforms are established between the producing and consuming countries. I urge the CPOPC Secretariat to take this proposal forward. Ladies and gentlemen, we need to move quickly and decisively to working together in confronting structural market issues that may exacerbate adverse impact. Vegetable oil continue in those endeavors. Indonesia stands ready to work in hand with others to ensure that we all have an equal and fair footing in the global effort to address the current head of famine and malnourished. Discriminative and restrictive policy are not an option. As the presidency of G20, Indonesia calls all members and countries to promote facilitative measures so that we would leave no one behind in our effort to recover together and recover stronger. Thank you. I wish you all productive discussion. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Om Santi, Santi, Santi Om.
Live from the capital Jakarta, Indonesia for the keynote address. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we have arrived to the moments of the opening ceremony of the G20 Sustainable Vegetable Oils Conference, which will be marked by the striking and the sounding of the auspicious Indonesian gong. For the procession, may we now invite Deputy Minister for Food and Agribusiness of the Coordinating Ministry for Economic Affairs of the Republic of Indonesia, Honorable Madam Dr. Musdalifah Mahmud, to lead the opening ceremony. And to accompany on the stage, may we also invite Secretary General of CPOPC, Mr. Dr. Rizal Afandi Lukman, also inviting Chairman of Indonesian Palm Oil Associations or IPOA, Mr. Joko Supriyono, President Director of Palm Oil Plantation Fund Management Agency, Mr. Edi Abdurrahman, and last but not least, inviting Director of Plantation Protection of the Ministry of Agriculture of the Republic of Indonesia, Mr. Baginda Siagian. Ladies and gentlemen, the opening ceremony of the conference will now be marked by the striking of the auspicious Golden Indonesian Gong by Madam Musdalifah on the count of 3. Mr. Adlan, may we invite you to kindly join us also on stage, please. And also, Deputy Minister from Papua New Guinea, may we invite you also, sir, to join us here on the stage, if you'd be so kind. Now that we have all of our honorable guests and excellencies here up on the stage for the opening ceremony of the conference, and Madam Musdalifah with the striking of the gong on the count of three, Madam. 1, 2, 3. Ladies and gentlemen, Sustainable Vegetable Oils Conference in Bali, Indonesia is officially opened. Congratulations. Congratulations indeed. May we now have all of our honorable guests for a moment of group photo. Mohon berkenan berfoto bersama Bapak dan Ibu. And would like to invite all of you for a group photo, please. May we have Madam Musdalifah at the center, Madam? Yeah. This is the moments that we'll be remembering from the opening ceremony of the Sustainable Vegetable Oils Conference here in Bali, Indonesia. On the count of three, 1, 2, 3. One more time. 1, 2, 3. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it one more time for the Sustainable Vegetable Oils Conference in Bali, Indonesia. May we now invite Madam Musdalifah, Dr. Rizal Afandi, and Mr. Joko Supriyono and Mr. Edi Abdurrahman to kindly proceed to Hibiscus Room for press conference. For the rest of the gentlemen, we kindly invite you to return to your seats. Thank you very much. Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, and now the opening ceremony has concluded. We've embarked upon the first sessions of our conference today. We are going to begin the first session with the theme, Vegetable Oils in the Age of Uncertainty. And this particular sessions will highlight the impact and relevant analysis of food crisis and how producing countries deal with the situation to ensure resilient supply chains and set the way forward. Ladies and gentlemen, for your information, there will be question and answer session at the end of the panel discussion today, and all participants are welcome to ask their questions to the panelists through the mobile web, and you may read also the tutorial right there on the screen. You can join slido.com and typing in hashtag 3234277, or you can also scan the barcode to participate and request the opportunity to ask your questions. Ladies and gentlemen, the first session today will be moderated by a representative of one of our colleagues here from Golden Agri Resources. And allow me to introduce our moderator today. He is an advisor on sustainability at Golden Agri Resources. He has continued serving as director at PT Smart Tbk, a subsidiary of GAR that manages all its upstream operations. He has worked as managing director for sustainability and strategic stakeholders engagement at GAR. And prior to joining GAR, he served as a special assistant on climate change and environment under the President of the Republic of Indonesia. Before joining the government, he served as the executive director of WWF Indonesia. We are extremely delighted to have him as the first moderator of the day. Please give the biggest round of applause to welcome Mr. Agus Purnomo.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Om Swastiastu. This morning we will have distinguished speakers giving information about one of the key factors of what the world has been facing this year, which is the age of uncertainty. And we know that the age of uncertainty is actually influenced by three major factors: the geopolitics, the pandemic, and also, in many places, climate change. Now, what we would like to hear immediately in this session is some deliberations on the issue of the geopolitics. We are very happy and we are very proud to have distinguished speakers who are the top policymaker in the agriculture sector in key countries. I would like to introduce our first presenter, our first speaker, His Excellency Syahrul Yassin Limpo, the Minister of Agriculture of the Republic of Indonesia. And I think we will have one by one introductions and allow each of them to come up with their presentations. And after that, we can have the sessions, question and answers. Dr. Syahrul Yassin Limpo is graduated from University of Hasanuddin, his PhD, and also appointed as the Minister of Agriculture. Prior to that, he was the Governor of South Sulawesi Province. Pak Syahrul Yassin Limpo has many awards, many distinguished awards. And without further ado, I would like to invite our Minister of Agriculture, Dr. Syahrul Yassin Limpo, to be on the screen and share his perspective about palm oil sector and agriculture in the age of uncertainty. Your Excellency, floor is yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, salam sehat, salam sejahtera untuk kita semua. Yang sangat saya hormati Menteri Koordinator Bidang Perekonomian Bapak Erlangga, yang kami banggakan Menteri Pertanian Rusia yang sama saya hormati, Menteri Pertanian dan Kesejahteraan Petani India, yang terhormat Menteri Kebijakan Pertanian dan Pangan Ukraina, Wakil Menteri Pertanian Republik Rakyat Tiongkok, Duta Besar Uni Eropa untuk Indonesia yang saya hormati, Sekretaris Jenderal CPO PC, dan yang saya hormati Ketua GAPKI yang saya hormati, seluruh peserta pertemuan, hadirin yang berbahagia, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dengan segala rahmat Allah, Tuhan yang Maha Kuasa, mari kita manjatkan puji syukur padanya atas segala izinnya. Kita semua hadir di sini untuk menghadiri konferensi minyak nabati berkelanjutan yang amat penting dan strategis ini. Merupakan satu kehormatan dan kebahagiaan bagi saya telah menjadi tuan rumah pertemuan Menteri Pertanian G20 bulan lalu. Dan saat ini juga menghadiri konferensi minyak nabati yang menunjukkan komitmen kita bersama untuk mengatasi ancaman krisis pangan global. Bapak, Ibu, dan hadirin sekalian yang sama saya hormati, minyak nabati sebagai produk pertanian merupakan elemen utama dari sistem pangan dan komoditi ekonomi yang sangat penting di negara ini. Sejak tahun 1980, penggunaan minyak nabati secara global telah meningkatkan berbagai segmen industri dan konsumen. Dari jenis-jenis minyak nabati yang ada, minyak kelapa sawit menjadi produk paling diminati oleh masyarakat. Perkembangan industri minyak nabati di Indonesia selama 20 tahun terakhir sangat pesat seiring dengan pertumbuhan industri kelapa sawit di Indonesia. Seperti kita ketahui bersama bahwa Indonesia merupakan salah satu penghasil minyak kelapa sawit terbesar di dunia dengan luas tutupan lahan kelapa sawit sebesar 16,38 juta hektar dan produksinya 46,8 juta ton CPO. Dari produksi tersebut, 18,42 juta ton minyak sawit dikonsumsi lokal untuk pangan, untuk elekomia, dan biodiesel dalam negeri. Sisanya lah baru diekspor ke luar negeri. Peran industri kelapa sawit terhadap perekonomian nasional hingga saat ini belum tergantikan. Hal ini dapat terlihat dari berbagai aspek, diantaranya industri sawit sudah menyerap sedikitnya 16 juta tenaga kerja yang terdiri dari 4 juta orang tenaga kerja langsung, 12 juta orang pekerja tidak langsung. Selain itu, industri kelapa sawit juga menciptakan kemandirian energi, menggantikan bahan bakar fosil melalui biodiesel. Program B20 dan B30 sebesar 9,3 juta ton pada tahun 2022 dan listrik dari 879 PKS sebesar 1.829 megawatt. Industri sawit masih tetap menjadi andalan kinerja neraca perdagangan nasional kita di Indonesia. Hal ini tergambar dari kontribusi yang mencapai 13,50% terhadap ekspor non-migas dan menyumbang kurang lebih 3,50% terhadap total PDB Indonesia. Dari aspek ekspor, pada sektor pertanian komoditas kelapa sawit menjadi punggawanya untuk mendulang devisa perekonomian Indonesia. Sepanjang tahun 2021, ekspor Indonesia mengalami peningkatan sebesar 41,88% dibandingkan tahun sebelumnya dengan nilai 231,54 miliar US dollar. Sektor pertanian memberikan kontribusi sebesar 1,83% dari total ekspor Indonesia atau nilainya 4,24 miliar US dollar. Meningkat 2,86% dari tahun 2022. Perkebunan menjadi subsektor yang berkontribusi paling besar terhadap total ekspor pertanian kita. Sebesar 96,86% dari total ekspor pertanian berasal dari komoditas perkebunan, terutama kelapa sawit dengan share sebesar 73,83%. Berdasarkan Badan Pusat Statistik tahun 2021, merupakan tahun di mana ekspor minyak kelapa sawit atau CPO dan turunannya mengalami kenaikan paling tinggi selama kurun waktu 5 tahun terakhir, yaitu sebesar 27,6 miliar US dollar. Dengan pertumbuhan sebesar 58,79% dibandingkan tahun sebelumnya. Hal inilah menjadikan kelapa sawit sebagai komoditi yang berperan penting dalam tren positif sektor pertanian dan sekaligus telah menjadikan sebagai komoditi unggulan ekspor Indonesia. Dan total ekspor kelapa sawit tersebut lebih dari 70% merupakan produk olahan CPO. SDGs merupakan platform pembangunan untuk semua sektor, termasuk industri kelapa sawit. SDGs dalam industri kelapa sawit diterapkan dalam bingkai Indonesia Sustainable Palm Oil atau ISPO, di mana merupakan bukti bahwa pengembangan kelapa sawit di Indonesia sudah memenuhi kaidah-kaidah pembangunan berkelanjutan itu. Hadirin yang sama saya hormati, Sistem Sertifikat Indonesia Sustainable Palm Oil atau ISPO terus diperkuat untuk perkebunan kelapa sawit di Indonesia. Pertama diundangkan pada tahun 2011 melalui Peraturan Menteri Pertanian tentang Pedoman Industri Sustainable Palm Oil atau ISPO. Kemudian diperbarui pada tahun 2015 melalui Peraturan Menteri Pertanian nomor 11 200 2015. Selanjutnya terus disempurnakan dan diperkuat dengan terbitnya Peraturan Presiden nomor 44 tahun 2022 tentang Sistem Sertifikasi Perkebunan Sawit yang berkelanjutan di Indonesia. Oleh karena itu, seluruh pelaku usaha perekonomian kelapa sawit wajib memiliki sertifikat ISPO, termasuk perkebunan yang dapat dibiayai dari anggaran pendapatan belanja negara, anggaran pendapatan dan belanja daerah, dan atau sumber lain yang sah sesuai ketentuan peraturan perundang-undangan yang ada. Bapak, Ibu, dan hadirin sekalian yang sama saya hormati, ISPO merupakan kebijakan pemerintah Indonesia untuk meningkatkan daya saing sawit Indonesia di pasar dunia dan turut serta memenuhi komitmen Presiden Republik Indonesia untuk mengurangi gas rumah kaca dan memperhatikan isu lingkungan. Luas kebun sawit yang telah disertifikasi ISPO terus bertambah saat ini. Hingga saat ini sudah mencapai 3,65 juta hektar dengan rincian 766 sertifikat dengan produksi 22 juta ton CPO. Hal ini menunjukkan bahwa realisasi areal perkebunan yang telah memenuhi syarat berkelanjutan indikator ISPO mengalami peningkatan dari tahun ke tahun. Dengan terbitnya regulasi terbaru, diharapkan sertifikat ISPO yang saat ini menjadi regulasi nasional guna tercapainya pengelolaan perkebunan kelapa sawit yang efisien, efektif, adil, dan berkelanjutan dalam waktu dekat juga mempercepat sertifikat sampai ke produk ISPO hilir agar keberterimaan dan daya saing produk kelapa sawit dan turunnya semakin diterima oleh dunia, baik secara nasional maupun internasional tentunya. Dengan diakuinya ISPO di pasar dunia, diharapkan dapat meningkatkan posisi tawar produk sawit Indonesia di mata konsumen. Di pasar komoditi pertanian lainnya, keberadaan sertifikat berkelanjutan yang diakui di pasar dunia berpotensi tidak hanya memperluas akses pasar, tapi juga meningkatkan harga minyak sawit bersertifikat ISPO. Hal ini dapat menjadi insentif bagi pelaku usaha untuk mengelola perkebunannya dengan terus meningkatkan kelestarian alam yang ada. Kebijakan penguatan ISPO lainnya adalah penilaian sertifikat keberlanjutan sepanjang rantai pasok industri sawit nasional yang meliputi input industri dan perkebunan sawit hingga pengecer. Sertifikasi ISPO tidak hanya menilai sektor hulu tetapi juga industri hilir untuk memastikan bahwa setiap produk yang dilengkapi dengan label bersertifikat ISPO telah dijamin memenuhi indikator keberlanjutan di sepanjang rantai pasoknya. Konsumen juga dapat memverifikasi sertifikasi dan memantau melalui mekanisasi ketelusuran atau tracing yang ditetapkan oleh industri. Dalam rangka meningkatkan produksi minyak nabati nasional, khususnya yang berasal dari kelapa sawit rakyat, pemerintah Indonesia telah mencanangkan program peremajaan sawit rakyat atau PSR sejak tahun 2017-2022 dengan target seluas 180.000 hektar setiap tahunnya yang dilaksanakan di 21 provinsi sentra penghasil kelapa sawit. Kurun waktu 2017 sampai 2022 Oktober 2022 telah terrealisasi program PSR berdasarkan rekomendasi teknis seluas 258,653 hektar. Dengan nilai anggaran yang sudah tertransfer oleh BPD PKS sebesar 6,9 triliun rupiah. Selain program PSR, pemerintah juga memfasilitasi program antara lain: A. Pengembangan sumber daya manusia yang merupakan pendidikan dan pelatihan. B. Penelitian dan pengembangan melalui grant riset sawit. Yang ketiga, sarana dan prasarana perkebunan sawit merupakan bantuan dari pemerintah dan negara. Yang lain adalah benih pupuk pestisida atau ekstensifikasi. Kita terus lakukan. Yang kedua, pemupukan dan pestisida atau intensifikasi juga kita laksanakan. Yang ketiga, alat pasca panen dan unit pengolahan hasil menjadi bagian dari variabel-variabel pendukung yang ada. Yang keempat, peningkatan jalan dan tata kelola air. Kelima, alat transportasi. Keenam, mesin pertanian. Ketujuh, infrastruktur pasar. Dan ke-8, verifikasi teknis IPO. Dari berbagai upaya yang dilakukan, diharapkan dapat meningkatkan penerimaan produk kelapa sawit Indonesia secara global, menerapkan kaidah-kaidah SDGs, serta mendukung ketahanan pangan. Selanjutnya kami berharap dalam pertemuan ini juga dapat merumuskan strategi untuk menghadapi tantangan rantai pasok minyak nabati secara global. Demikian beberapa hal yang saya dapat sampaikan. Semoga konferensi ini sukses. Selamat melakukan diskusi dan temukanlah rekomendasi untuk kebijakan-kebijakan ke depan terhadap kelapa sawit dan turunan hasilnya yang lebih baik di masa yang akan datang. Terima kasih. Kurang lebih kami mohon maaf. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Saya Safrul Yassin Limpo, Menteri Pertanian Republik Indonesia.
We now move to the second distinguished speaker, His Excellency Ma Youxiang, Vice Minister of Agriculture and Rural Affairs, People's Republic of China. Dr. Ma Youxiang has a doctoral degree in management, and he is the Vice Minister and member of CPC Leading Group of the Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Affairs in China. Without further ado, we would like to invite His Excellency Ma Youxiang to give his remark.
尊敬的哈尔塔托部长、各位嘉宾、女士们、先生们，大家好。首先，我代表中国农业农村部对20国集团主席国印度尼西亚举办本次会议表示感谢。很高兴与大家相聚云端，共同探讨如何应对全球植物油供应链挑战和推动可持续发展问题。中国是全球植物油生产、消费和贸易大国，是全球植物油市场增长和稳定的重要力量。2021年，中国植物油总产量3100万吨，其中豆油产量1600万吨，居世界第一；菜籽油产量570万吨，居世界第二；消费量达到4287万吨，较10年前增长47%。中国是全球第2大植物油进口国，近5年年均进口1100万吨左右，占全球植物油贸易量的15%，其中棕榈油约占55%。中国政府高度重视植物油产业可持续发展，一是坚持绿色发展，不断提高油料作物保障供应能力，稳定油料作物生产面积，将生产油料作物的优质耕地优先划为永久基本农田，实行永久保护，推进油茶等木本油料低产低效林改造，大力实施大豆和油料产能提升工程， 推广大豆、玉米袋装复合种植、粮豆轮作、水稻、油菜轮作等绿色可持续的生产模式，努力挖掘释放生产潜力。2021年，大豆和油料作物种植面积较2012年增加3%，单产增加10%，产量增加13.5%。二是加强农业科技创新，推动植物油产业高质量发展，抓住品种和机械两个关键，加快优质品种选育推广，建成世界最大油料作物种植资源库，油料育种研究达到世界先进水平，加快配套农机研发推广，推动油料作物生产全程机械化，同时不断创新油脂加工技术和工艺，有资加工产业初步实现数字化、智能化，为植物油发展天质、体质增效。三是坚定扩大开放，持续推进贸易便利化和市场多元化，持续优化口岸营商环境，加强自贸区建设，保障农产品物流稳定畅通，提高农产品贸易便利化水平，推动双边、区域和多边开放合作，推进 RCEP 成员农产品贸易增长，促进油脂油料市场多元化，提升植物油供应链韧性和安全水平。各位同事，当前全球植物油产业面临绿色转型、气候变化等诸多挑战。中国愿与各国加强合作，携手应对，共同促进植物油产业可持续发展。一是深化产业链供应链合作，畅通国际植物油产业链供应链，促进全球范围内资源合理高效配置，减少贸易壁垒，提高流通效率，缓解市场供给紧张局面，避免国际价格过度波动。二是强化绿色发展和科技创新合作，加强在油料作物可持续种植、生产技术、病虫害防治及土地改良治理等方面的经验交流和分享，针对压榨制油技术难题开展联合攻关，提高出油率和油品质量，进一步提升全球植物油供应能力。三是推动监测预警国际合作，加强植物油供需、价格监测和自然灾害预警合作，稳定市场预期，帮助发展中国家，特别是最不发达国家，提高农业气象服务可及性，降低自然灾害对生产的影响。预祝本次大会取得圆满成功，谢谢大家。
Thank you, Your Excellency. Our last speaker of this morning is Honorable, Mikhail Matsev, the Executive Director of Oil and Fat Union of Russia. Mikhail Matsev has been the head of the Fat and Oil Union of Russia for more than 6 years and have 30 leading companies as its members. He represents and defends the interests of fat and oil industry, actively also interacting with the authorities. We are grateful that Honorable Michael Matsev will be able also to respond to some of the questions from the audience. Without further ado, Mr. Matsev, floor is yours.
Hello, allow me on behalf of the oil and fat industry of Russia to welcome the participants of the conference and wish everyone successful work. Let's start. Please, second slide. of the presentation. Excuse me, I don't see the presentation. Yes, thank you. Next slide, please. As you can see, the production of oilseeds and vegetable oils in Russia has increased by about 10 times over the past 20 years. In particular, the potential of the supply of Russian oils to the world market in the current season will increase by another 27%. Second slide, please. At the same time, the share of exports in the production of vegetable oils increased from 10% to almost 80%. More than 3/4 of oil produced by Russia are supplied to the world market. Next slide, please. For many years, Russia has been a reliable supplier of the vegetable oils to the world market by dynamically increase of the volume of supply. As I mentioned above, in the current season, we will also increase the volume of supply by 27%. But the question of realizing this potential depends entirely on the barriers what we see today in the supply of Russian food. These are limited access to freight, a sharp increase in freight costs, complexity and extended payment terms of delivered products. In the working order, we overcome all emerging barriers, but of course, their presence can affect the full realization of our supply potential. Russia will continue to be a reliable supplier of vegetable oils to the world market by increasing the volume of supplies. Thank you for your attention, and once again, I wish you all successful work.
And how to do that is just use your cell phone and scan the QR code, which is right behind me, to enter Slido, and then use the chat facility in Slido to convey your question. Since there may be more than a few questions, so we will have to choose which of the questions that we would like to convey to the speakers this morning. So slido.com with the hashtag 3234277. Then you can get into Slido and address the speakers of whatever that you have in mind. Just would like to reiterate that the two ministers have stated the commitment of their countries, Indonesia and China, to pursue the sustainability farm agriculture activities, and they have different policy instruments that they would like to use. In Indonesia, the use of Indonesian certifications of palm oil, ISPO, is important. And then in China, we have a list of policies that the government of China is doing to also produce resilient and secure oil sectors in China. Now I have questions in front of me. Let's wait for a while because there are the screen is still moving. We have a number of questions to Indonesia, and I think I need someone from the Indonesian government, if not our minister, to respond to this. Do we have senior officers of the Ministry of Agriculture in the room? Okay. There is a questions about what is the real CPO inventory of Indonesia? And also about the questions from, I think from a student who participated in this meeting, asking about whether our vegetable oil producers also concerns about sustainability, also concerns about environment, and is there a program for students of agriculture faculty to contribute? Now, there is a question for Mr. Michael Matsev. How does the Russia-Ukraine conflict affect the vegetable oil sector in Europe and in Russia? What role do you see for Russian agriculture, specifically Russian in the global market, Russian sunflower in the global market? Mr. Matsev, if you can start addressing the two questions addressed to you.
Yes, thank you. No, first of all, I would like to say what don't comment any question about Russian and Ukraine. I think you it's really understanding. But about our role of the export food product in the world market, I would like to say what the Russia is a global player in the global food market in general, and vegetable oil in particular. We supply premium non-GMO-free products, and in the supply of sunflower oil, Russia ranks second. And this season, it may come out on top. And we don't think, if you see on the presentation, the geography of the supply, our products look not for Europe. We are looking for in other countries. These countries is traditionally buyers our products, and we have many years of contracts, and we see to increase the supply to these countries.
I think we have answered, you have answered the other similar questions. And what's going on? Okay, so I got the notes that there is no more questions. So ladies and gentlemen, it seems that we can end up this morning session earlier. Many thanks for your patience and attendance to these early sessions. And let's end the session now and move to the next sessions, where we will have also interesting discussion. Thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Om Santi Santi Om.
Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you very much, Mr. Agus Purnomo, our moderator, for the first part of session one that has helped us navigate through such an enlightening discussion this morning. Ladies and gentlemen, we've now arrived to the second part of session one, which will still highlight and shine a light on the part of vegetable oils in the age of uncertainty. And allow me to introduce to you our moderator for the second part of the first session. Ladies and gentlemen, our moderator for the second part of the sessions was the Executive Director of GAPKI from 2009 to 2017. Currently, he is the Director of Corporate Affairs of PT ASEAN Agri. He has held various positions previously, among others, as Director of the Institute for Development and Economics and Finance, or INDEF, and Director of Standardization and Smallholder Development of Council of Palm Oil Producing Countries, or CPOPC, and member of National Committee for Economy and Industry, or CAIN. He graduated from Bogor Agricultural University and earned Master of Science from Iowa State University, USA, and PhD from University of Kentucky, USA, majoring in agricultural economics. It is my immense pleasure to welcome onto the stage, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Fadil Hassan.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the second session of the Sustainable Palm Oil Vegetable Oil Conference. And then this continuation of the first session chaired by Pak Agus Purnomo. In this session, we have two honorable speakers. First is the Honorable Soba Karandlaje, Union Minister of State for Agriculture and Farmers Welfare of India. And the second speaker is Honorable Mykola Slosky, Vice Minister of Agrarian Policy and Food of Ukraine. Minister Soba will join by pre-recording video, and then later on in the Q&A session, her deputy will entertain us with some question and answer, and Minister of Mykola Slosky will join virtually. The topic, as we all know, is about vegetable oils in the age of uncertainty. Yes, as Pak Agus Purnomo mentioned before, we are now in the age of uncertainty due to the several factors. Among others are climate change and global warming, conflict in Ukraine, and also I think the unavoidable, or I should say possible world economic recessions, especially in the some part of the world, and also the pandemic COVID-19, which all these factors impact the whole vegetable oil industry, both in producing and in consuming countries. So I think it's going to be very interesting if we're gonna discuss it on how and what should the vegetable oil industry, both in the producing and importing countries, respond to this uncertain situation. So before we begin, I would like to introduce the Union Minister of State for Agriculture and Farmer Welfare of India, Soba Karandlaje, who is going to talk first. actually, Mrs. Soba Karandlaje is a Union Minister of State of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare, and also Member of Parliament, Lok Sabha Udupi Singmagalur constituency since 2019 up to present. And her prominent position was being elected as a MLC in 2004, and also during the 2010 and 2013, Mrs. Soba Karandlaje was entrusted with the Ministry of Energy portfolio in the state government, and also held additional charge of the Ministry of Food and Civil Supply Department of Karnataka state government. She held various positions before that, but I think it's too long to to explain to all of you. So now I would like to invite Mrs. Soba Karandlaje to present her speech, which is being recorded earlier. So now please welcome Mrs. Soba Karandlaje in our stage.
Namaskar to all from India. On behalf of the Government of India and my fellow countrymen, I convey my warm greetings to everyone present at this prestigious G20 Sustainable Vegetable Oils Conference, which aims to address and formulate strategies to counter the global vegetable oil supply chain challenges. I also take this opportunity to thank the Republic of Indonesia for organizing this session on a very pertinent topic and providing an opportunity for India to contribute to this important agenda. As we all are aware that vegetable oils are important key items in diets around the world, essential sources of fats, nutrients and cooking. In fulfilling the uninterrupted demand, 3/4 of the countries depend on world market, where imports represent about 40% of global consumption. The threat of shortage of vegetable oils is highest for the poorest countries, with a large share of consumption from food imports and unable to shift to more expensive butter or other animal fat based products. India has second largest population in the world and hence ensuring food security along with nutritional security is of utmost priority for us. The affordability of vegetable oils is a crucial aspect in our country, as is the case with most of the world. In this process, we often have to balance the needs of consumers with that of our farmers, who are mostly small and marginal. In India, 9 oilseed crops, namely groundnut, soybean, rapeseed, mustard, sesame, sunflower, safflower, nigger, castor and linseed are major sources of vegetable oils and contribute to more than 70% of the domestic availability of vegetable oils. Oil palm, coconut, cottonseed, rice bran, tree bran, oilseeds and solvent extracted oil are the secondary sources of vegetable oils and contribute to about 30% of the total domestic availability of the vegetable oils. However, domestic production is inadequate to meet the vegetable oil requirements in the country, and as a result, we import vegetable oils from various countries including Indonesia. India is the largest importer of edible oils in the world. During 2021-22, India imported around 14.78 billion tons of edible oils, costing around $17.74 billion US. In the recent years, we have been promoting our farmers to increase the area and production of vegetable oils. As a result of the developmental efforts, the oilseeds Production has increased from 25.49 million tons in 2014-15 to 37.70 million tons in 2021-2022, resulting in domestic edible oils production of 11.57 million tons in 21-22. India is committed to increase the domestic production of vegetable oils to ensure food security and has undertaken various strategic initiatives in this direction. National Mission on Edible Oils, Oilseeds is an essential step forward at self-sufficiency. Having said so, we are also cognizant of the challenges being faced due to raised production of edible oil. I would further like to ensure that India is committed to growth but in a sustainable manner. We are and we will be open to suggestions around sustainable development of the sector. As a recent initiative, the Government of India has launched National Mission on Edible Oils, Oil Palm, with the aim to augment the availability of edible oils in country by harnessing area expansion, increase crude palm oil production with the aim to reduce the import burden. Under this initiative, by 2025-26, we have fixed target to increase production of edible oils from 10.40 million tons to 18 million tons. India hopes to achieve oilseed production of 54.10 million tons by 2025-26 from the existing production level 37.70 million tons. With this production, domestic edible oil production shall be 13.63 million tons by 2025-26 from existing domestic edible oil production of 9.1 million tons. India firmly believes that the world food systems are highly integrated, while acknowledging that forces driving them are constantly shifting. Sustainable food systems will require optimal utilization of new agriculture technologies to keep up with the changing demand consumption patterns of oilseeds. Excellency, I would wish to draw your attention that to maintain the global food systems in the world, we need to develop new climate resilient varieties, oilseeds which will be useful in future for poor countries as well as the developed countries. The G20 Sustainable Vegetable Oil Conference has gathered world leaders and vegetable oil stakeholders, including major palm oil producing countries and other vegetable producers, to deliberate common issues on vegetable oil supply chain. Keeping in view of present global scenario, we will have to take urgent collective actions to increase oilseed production through sharing of technology and exchange of information, as well as involving multilateral organizations to ensure provision of emergency food supplies, financial support, increased agriculture production and trade, cooperation and collaboration among the G20 countries. Towards this is the need of the hour, and India is willing to learn as well as extend hand friendship to all G20 members in this regard. We thank Indonesia for the successful hosting of meeting and look forward to learning from their experience and leveraging them to our best capacity from December onwards when India assumes the presidency of the G20. Thank you all. Namaste.
Thank you, Mrs. Soba, for the presentation. Let us now move to the second speaker, Mr. Mykola Solski, Minister of Agriculture Policy and Food of Ukraine. But before that, let me introduce him. Mykola Solski is a Minister of Agrarian Policy and Food in Ukraine since March 2022 until today. Born in May 22nd of 1979. Education is Ivan Franko Liv National University, degree in law. Before that, Mr. Mykola Solski held various positions in the field of legal. And also before that, he was a member of parliament, chairman of the committee of the Verkhovna Rada Parliament of Ukraine on agrarian and land policy. And now he is the Minister of Agrarian Policy and Food of Ukraine. So without further ado, now I would like to invite Honorary Mykola Solski to present his speech. Please welcome Minister of Agrarian Policy and Food of Ukraine.
I cordially greet I cordially greet all the participants. Thank you for the opportunity to speak and to be heard by the leaders of the most influential countries in the world. Today I have the honor to speak on behalf of Ukraine, the country which is now fighting with courage for its independence and future. The country which is bravely defending its borders and the borders of Eastern Europe. The country which continues to work without rest even despite the growing military aggression, daily bombardments and terror of civilians. The war takes away the most valuable thing from us, human lives. The war causes us enormous damage. Geographically, the war is on the territory of Ukraine, but in fact, it's much more extensive than just the territory of our country, as the whole world suffers from its consequences. The aggressors block the work of our seaports, which provoke a decrease of export possibilities. The exports of agricultural products in March 2022 decreased to 200,000 tons, but that is dozens of times below the pre-war volume, and monthly exports before the military invasion were more than 6 million tons. The breaking of logistic routes inevitably caused a fast increase of food prices. From now on, when buying agricultural products, the country must take into account not obvious but very sensitive factor of price increase, the war factor. We are in a situation when hunger can be caused not by the lack of products, but the inability of countries to buy them. All that was caused by absolutely conscious actions of the aggressor. Thanks to the joint effort of our partners, the Black Sea Grain Initiative was implemented and helped to unblock seaports. During the operation of the grain corridors, 423 vessels left our ports and delivered grain to multiply countries. Ukraine used all available opportunities to provide the world with food and maintain food security. However, recently we have received a message about the suspension of the grain corridor. Traditionally, the aggressor tries to shift the responsibility to the Ukrainian side for all that. I want to focus that the ships with food which leave our ports have nothing to do with the war. The invaders were just looking for an occasion to withdraw themselves completely from the grain deal, but the world knows the truth. Ukraine doesn't attack. Ukraine is defending itself. The parties of the agreement did not violate its terms. For us, the execution of our obligation is critical. I would like to emphasize that despite all the circumstances, Ukraine is ready to be among the guarantors of food security in the world. We are capable to meet the demand of our domestic market together with the demand of other countries. During this session, we have managed to harvest 31 million tons of grain. This is much less compared to the pre-war period, as is in November 2021, we harvested 61 million tons. As a part of today's discussion, I would like to emphasize on Ukraine's ability to provide the world with vegetable oil. Before the war, we were among the leaders in its production. The share of Ukraine's sunflower oil in the world was 31%. According to the results of the previous year, the export of vegetable oils amounted to $7.2 billion. At the same time, sunflower oil was the first product from this export category. Its export share was more than 90%. In total, the international market of sunflower oil last year amounted to $19.5 million. A significant share of that market last year belonged to Ukraine oilseed exporters. Taking into consideration the difficulties with the transportation of sunflower oil, Ukraine started to sell the primary raw material, sunflower seeds. During the operation of the corridor, 500,000 tons of sunflower seeds were exported. We regret to admit that in the current circumstances, we receive significantly smaller export revenue. We observe a decrease in the volume of domestic processes. We realize that the expenses of our producers have increased significantly and production has become economically unprofitable. We lost the opportunities to sell grain at the price that will cover the expenses. Obviously, in future, we forecast the decrease of crops here, which will result in the decrease of oil production, possibly even its shortage resulting in significant price increase, which will have global consequences for the whole world, unless we prevent it. I regret to admit that the future of the grain corridor remains unknown. I also regret that the future of food securities of the world is not clear. The future of many people is in danger. It's only clear that the escalation of the global food crisis is another way for the aggressor to destabilize the world. However, if we join our efforts together with the efforts of our partners, we are able to prevent it. We are able to stop the rapid price increase. We request all countries to strongly condemn the aggression of the Russian Federation at all levels, to demand for Russia to return to the execution of its obligations. We need a strong international response. Thank you for your attention.
Let's give us applause to the Minister of Mykola Slosky. And then now we follow by Q&A session, but unfortunately the Minister of the SOBA cannot join this Q&A session. Also, her deputy cancel his participation. So we're gonna have Mr. Mykola Slosky, Minister of Agrarian Policy and Food of Ukraine, who will participate in this Q&A session. For this, as before, we're gonna do this by slido.com, and then I think we have already several questions for Mr. Slosky. The first one is, what is the current view of the word community regarding, oh, I'm sorry, this is for the Indonesian, let this question for Mr. Slosky. Any thought of yesterday's news when Russia returned to the fact of the grain deal? What to expect with the sunflower oil volume to be exported? So, Mr. Slosky, if you can answer that question, please.
We hope that the work will be continued and including the export of sunflower oil. So today in Ukraine we continue to work with new ships with new vessels that export grain and sunflower oil. So as all we know, the term of this corridor is until 22 November, and also we expect continue of this corridor and support of our partners, it's United Nations and Turkey in negotiations.
How about the second question? Okay, this is another question for Mr. Solsky. What is the situation of supply of sunflower oil in Ukraine presently, and whether sunflower is part of the agreement with Russia guarantee its supply to the other countries?
So we have agreement with Turkey and signed agreement with Turkey and United Nations, and of course sunflower oil, sunflower seeds, and sunflower crush products is a part of this agreement. So we hope that it will be continuous with same conditions. I mean that the agreement the continue of agreement will include also not only grain but also sunflower oil.
Okay, thank you very much, Minister Solsky, for your present in this sustainable vegetable oil conference. So if there is no more question, then we can end this session. Thank you very much also for the participation of for this session. So again, thank you.
Thank you.
We're gonna end this session shortly. Thank you. Now I return this to our Mr. Master of Ceremony, please.
Thank you very much, moderator of second part of session 1. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for Mr. Fadil Hassan, who has moderated our session today. Thank you very much indeed, Mr. Moderator. What a day. We are very sure that all the questions, all the burning questions that you may have may be extended later on during the luncheon session that we're about to have in just a few moments. Ladies and gentlemen, we come to the end of the first session of the G20 Sustainable Vegetable Oils Conference. We are delighted to invite you all now to enjoy your lunch, which is already served at the Nusantara 3 ballroom, located just on the other side of this ballroom indeed. And we will reconvene for the continuation of the conference at 1 p.m. Bali time or Central Indonesian time. So please adjust your clock accordingly. We look forward to see everyone in around approximately 1 hour from now. My name is Rahmat Idris. Ladies and gentlemen, please enjoy your delicious and mouth-watering lunch. See you later.